Abaddon's Gate, the third installment of the 9-volume science fiction series space opera epic, The Expanse, by James S.A. Corey. Leviathan Wakes, Caliban's War, both very good and an incredible start to this very long series. But can the series hold up for its third volume? Let's find out. Welcome to another episode of Crizzy Books. I'm Crizzy, or Criz, but only my homeboys call me Criz. In Abaddon's Gate, we are immediately following the events of Caliban's War. The proto-molecule has opened up and built a ring, which is just a portal that goes somewhere. Nobody's gone through the ring yet. It's just there, and we know that we can go through it, but how? Holden and the crew of the Rocinante have traveled to the ring to do some side work for Avasarala, for Fred Johnson, and in a series of unfortunate events, of course, they end up in some kind of scuffle, and because they are our main characters, they end up going through the ring first, successfully. They're the first people to go through the ring without anything happening to them. Also, Holden has some kind of proto-molecule Miller ghost that keeps showing up and talking to him constantly, and he's telling him that he needs to go investigate whatever the hell is going on inside the ring, because inside the ring is a big structure. No one knows what it is, but Ghost Miller really needs to check it out and needs to do something. He has to turn it on. The Rocinante is not the only ship that goes through the ring. A bunch of other ships follow them. Martian, OPA, Earth. They all go through, and they all get stuck. The ring sees them as some kind of a threat and stops their momentum. They can't travel very fast, meaning they can't shoot rockets. They can't do anything. It's just trying to figure out what they are and make sure that they can't do any harm to this proto-molecule, whatever the hell this structure, this whole ring thing is. And of course, humans being human, they gotta start fights with each other. The Martians send a bunch of Marines down to chase Holden and Miller, get into a giant fight with a bunch of the machines that wake up to protect it, which in turn just causes more problems for the people that are in the ships. They are on a slow burn, able to move, but they can't move very quickly. And this whole incident makes the ring retaliate against them and halts all of them immediately, which ends up killing a bunch of people, damaging ships. The OPA has brought one of their stations inside of the ring, and their idea is to then bring all of these people in as refugees so that everybody's on one ship, we can all get along and try and figure out how the hell we are going to get out of here. And obviously this leads to even more problems, mutinies, gigantic rebellions, a bunch of people dying, until eventually we can get the ring online and figuring out that we are no longer a threat and we can all get the hell out of here and move on peacefully, which is what ends up happening. In terms of being the third sequel of this series, I think that so far, this is probably the weakest one, which is unfortunate because I feel like it had a lot of momentum built up. However, that doesn't mean that this is bad, because I don't think it's bad. I just think that in terms of what has come before it, it's not quite up to snuff. But let's get into it. In terms of the writing, as always, it's great. This book flows really well. It doesn't dwell too much on the more sciencey aspects of the science fiction. It's still there. But it moves forward with a good pace, and it has a lot of action, and things are just constantly happening every chapter. The story also felt like it advanced a little bit. One of my major complaints about the second one, it felt like a slow roll continuation of what happened in the first, and not much else. This one changes everything. The proto-molecule has created a ring. This is a new unknown. No one has been through this ring. No one knows what the hell's going on. We've got Force Ghost Miller following Holden around. We also get introduced to a lot of new characters. Holden is the only crew member that we're following. Everyone else, brand new. We've got Bull, who is an OPA guy. He is in charge of security, I believe. He has to deal with a lot of issues, mutiny. He leads a mutiny at one point, but he does that to try and make sure that nobody gets hurt, to make sure things don't get too out of hand. A lot of people don't get killed. Bull is a cool character. I did enjoy his parts a lot. We have Anna, who is a preacher, pastor. She's a religious woman, religious leader. She is coming on this mission so that she can be one of the first people to go through the ring. This is a unique perspective in this series of getting a more theological approach to things. What is spirituality? What is faith in a world where something like this exists? And then lastly, we have Melba, or Clarissa Mao, Julie Mao's sister. She is on a mission to kill Holden. She thinks that Holden is the reason that all these bad things have happened to her father, that her father is being wrongly imprisoned and having his life ruined, and that Holden needs to die. And I liked the differences in each one of these characters, and they do all kind of represent the general themes of this book, which is going into the unknown, revenge, faith, redemption, acceptance, and fear. All the characters are very interesting in their own right, and I don't think I was ever bored reading any of them, but sometimes it did feel like I wasn't super interested. That might be a personal thing. I didn't feel completely invested in any one of them. Maybe Clarissa, but they all felt very passive, and that I don't think they're going to be sticking around very long, which made me feel a little more apathetic towards them. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This book is very much about the unknown. What lies beyond the ring? What built the ring? Who are these people who created the proto-molecule? And all of these things are now being revealed to us. Are they hostile? Are they still around? We get a lot of answers to those things and left with a lot more questions. And what's so interesting is this whole thing, these new things that are being revealed are treated as hostile, but human beings also unable to not be hostile towards each other, even in situations where it requires them to not do that. That's what the whole book is really boiling down to. A complete inability to trust one another, to be good to one another. Everybody seems to be in a race to see who can be the last one to die. One of the big positives about this is that Miller is back, kind of. It's a proto-molecule version of Miller that is presenting itself to Holden because it feels that this is a good form to take to talk to him. It still has some of his personality and stuff, which is great. It was sad to me that we lost Miller in the first book because he's such an awesome character. So to have a weird form of him back is very cool, and I enjoyed a lot of the parts with him. He is also this conduit to the proto-molecule and giving us bits of information when it can. It doesn't seem to really know what it is or what it's trying to do. It just knows that it's trying to do something. I said earlier, people can't stop from killing each other, even in times when they need to band together. And that is really the major climax of this. At the beginning, Bull leads a mutiny. There's this guy, Ashford, who seems to be really losing it, and he seems incredibly hostile towards everyone who isn't the OPA. He's a live wire. He can't be trusted. So they take control of the ship. Bull is in charge. Then all this stuff with the ring happens, and a bunch of people get hurt, and people die. Bull gets really hurt, but he's still managing. He's walking around in a mech the whole time. And they've got Ashford in prison. He ends up getting out and trying to take back control of this OPA space station. And that's what starts a whole conflict. It's everybody else versus these guys. It's very good. This is some of the most exciting and intense moments of the book. There's these really cool Martian Marines that come in and help out, and they, take cool sniping shots and are throwing grenades and doing all this really cool tactical stuff. Loved all these parts. And in the end, Bull ends up sacrificing himself to try and make sure that the mission is accomplished of taking back control of the station. And it did feel impactful. They built Bull up enough that I did really care, and you felt that sacrifice. And so I thought that was really effective. And one of my favorite parts of the whole book is the very beginning, the epilogue of this. A guy, some belter, is racing towards the ring in some kind of slingshot to try and be the first one through, and the ring stops him so violently that his insides come out, but not in the way of a splatter. It's more in the way of it stops even the momentum of his insides coming out, so it's more just and then like a bullet in water, right? But all of his insides doing that. So just kind of stopping and flowing. Awesome. Awesome. Love that. Very messed up. Very gnarly. That's all I think I've really got to say about it. I thought that this is still good. I just don't think that it's as strong as the first two. I'm hoping that that picks up and changes with the next ones. With a series this long, you've got to expect there to be some that just aren't as good as the others. I just didn't expect it to be so early. Overall, I'd give this one a 3.5 out of 5. That might seem harsh, and it probably is, but I think by comparison to the other two, that's where it sits for me. It's not a bad book. I thought it was good. I had a good time. I just don't think that it was nearly as good as the others. But one thing that it did do is advance the story into a new exciting path. I am excited to see what happens now that they've got the ring under control, and it seems like they're going to be able to start using it. What is that going to open up? I can't wait to find out. But what do you think? Have you read Volume 3 of The Expanse, Abaddon's Gate? What are your thoughts and opinions on it? Sound off in the comments below. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye.